Welcome back, Hampshire chemistry students. In this video today, we're going to be looking some more at ice tables, and we're going to be talking about how we can look at a specific example. For this case, you're going to want to have your ice table homework out. We're going to be looking at number 3 together, and the reaction between how hydrogen iodide can break down to make hydrogen gas and iodine gas. Okay. We are given some very important information in this problem, but before we get started, make sure that you've got things like your calculator next to you. You should have some pen. I'm using some different colors. Okay. You should be ready and listening with me and writing along. If you're just going to watch and do nothing, how are you ever going to be successful? Okay. LeBron James didn't get good by watching Michael Jordan shoot free throws. He was doing it and practicing it himself. And so in this case, we know that we are given the KEQ for our reaction, and we're given some initial information that's going to help us out here in a second. Okay, but first thing we're going to want to do, of course, is write out our KEQ expression. And this should hopefully be pretty much second nature by now. And we're taking our products, our iodines and our hydrogens, over the top of our products, of our reactants. So that's the HI. And don't forget that coefficient 2 is going to end up as a squared in this case. So we have this handy dandy equation. Let's break down our I, our C, and our E. And remember, the I stands for the initial. And I'm going to want to have the initial concentration of everything I know. In this case, it's the 0.4 moles of HI divided by 10 liters. So that's simply just going to be 0.4. I barely even need a calculator for that one. And we have 0.4 molar. This is our starting amount. Okay? And because we're not told anything else, I can assume that the rest of my starting amounts are 0. Those initial values, we have a lot of reactant, but no products are made yet. That's where this change comes into play. Remember that I'm going to represent these guys all with a X. I do not know how much they are just yet. Okay? And you're going to want to think about, hey, this is being used twice as fast as these other two because it's coefficient of 2. So I'm going to put a coefficient 2 out in front. Lastly, you want to think about, am I gaining or losing these guys? I do have some common mistakes with these, but I would notice that I've got 0 for H2. So how would I lose any of this? I would make sure that I would be adding my amounts to my product side and subtracting from my reactant side. Okay? So in our other problem, like we did in number 1, we were given some equilibrium amounts. Okay, but in this case, we're not. So I'm going to need to just bring down each of my different parts here and write like a little expression. So I'm going to take my starting amount, the 0.4 molar minus the 2x, okay, and this amount is eventually going to become my equilibrium if I can solve for x. Okay? Since these guys are just 0 plus x, these guys are both just going to be brought down and have an x value. Okay? So you might be wondering, how the heck are we going to solve for this? And that's why we wrote this handy dandy equation up here earlier. Okay? We're going to plug in all of our values we know. We know our KEQ value is 0.016, and that is equal to these guys. And I'm going to plug in for each of my values. My I2, we found that was an x. Okay. My H2 is an x, so I could write times 2, but hey, x times x, that's just x squared. Okay. And then the bottom part of my equation is going to be this expression we wrote for our HI, 0.4 minus 2x. Okay. Don't forget that this guy does need to be squared, so I'm going to put a squared on the bottom. Okay, so using this equation, we need to solve for x. And really at this point, it's just some algebra. Okay, you are going to make sure to square root both sides of this equation. And then that leaves you with the square root of 0.016 equal to x over 0.4 minus 2x. And again, this is just algebra. Okay? I'll leave this up to you at this point because this video is getting a little bit longer. Okay? But you're just going to need to multiply both sides, distribute, and then do a little bit of just of 9th grade algebra. It's a lot of equations, but at the very end, you're going to take whatever x value you have and plug them in to figure out your total amounts. Okay, so I'll leave this up to you guys. You can do it. If you're having trouble still, feel free to email me or check with your other students when you come back on Tuesday. and I'll see you guys tomorrow.